Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, my name is Joseph and it's great to have you here today. A few weeks ago, in one of his videos, in one of his news segment videos, Frank James mentioned how introverts are having a harder time dealing with the pandemic than extroverts are. And he also mentioned the social battery, which, as those of you that have followed my channel for a little while know, I've been making a running joke of for quite some time. But today I thought we would talk about the social battery because one in particular comment that Frank James made is that for some reason, if you don't drain the battery, then go and recharge it, then you're not getting the full effect out of it. But let's get started. Okay, so that very last comment I made there about draining the battery and then going and recharging it to try and strengthen it, that is very, very true. And I want to start off by making the comparison of it as to a cell phone battery. If you don't take that battery down to as close as you can to 0% and then recharge it back to 100, you're not getting the full effect out of that battery. And that goes with any piece of electronics. If you talk to any of the experts, it's true. It comes down to how you are exciting and de-exciting the molecules in the battery itself. You're exercising them. You're getting the longevity out of them by using them completely. And the same goes for our social batteries. If you don't use it, then you're just letting it sit there and deteriorate. Now, as an introvert though, I understand fully how difficult this is. And there are some good key methods to getting out there and using that social battery. Now, in these days and times, unfortunately, it is of course very difficult to do that, given that we're all supposed to maintain distance and self-quarantine when necessary. And then you've got the masks, and it just makes it all the more difficult. But there's some steps that we can all learn from, that we can all do to try and ease this problem and help exercise the social battery. Before we go into the whole process of it, I want to share a little bit about my own personal experience with this. As I've said before, I used to work in retail and for quite a few many years. And as such, I would go in every day, day in, day out, and I would have to interact with other people. Granted, I tended to stick to areas that I knew about, electronics. And because of that, I would interact with people on the topic that I enjoyed. Now that is a good basis of starting anything. But to finish out a little bit about myself, as I've been away from that retail environment and been away from interacting with people, especially during this year, I've come to realize that my own social battery, when I was in retail working all those years, has grown more than I thought it would. I'm able to deal with social circumstances for what would probably be a longer time because I was able to interact with people. I would still be drained at the end of the day, but then it'd be going in, day out, have to recharge in a few hours overnight to go in and go through the whole process again. But having been away from that, I actually find myself this year in particular wanting that human interaction, wanting to be involved with other people. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't want my own alone time, because as I've gotten that, I tend to appreciate it more, being able to sit back and relax and just be able to be in my own head to recharge that social battery, to be able to recharge myself and relax and come down, where I didn't always get that working in retail. I didn't have enough time to recharge myself. To the steps of how you might go about exercising your social battery. It starts with expanding your horizons of what you can possibly talk about. As introverts, one of the things that we absolutely love, in particular as an INTJ, something that I really love is being able to converse about things that I absolutely enjoy, something that hits home for me, something that I know a lot about. And unfortunately for introverts, that's one of our things that we have to work on. We have to work on getting off of topics that we're just absolutely completely comfortable with and being able to not necessarily float like a social butterfly, but be able to converse in multiple different areas. By broadening your horizons and opening up different doors to things that you can talk about, gives you an opportunity to be able to have more conversations and exercise that social battery. Now, I would compare that to only specifically reading one specific genre of book or watching one particular genre of movies, such as horror movies or science fiction movies or comedy movies, or just playing one specific genre of video games like RPGs. You're limiting yourself. Yes, there may be some differentiation in in one specific genre, but you're only still in one specific area. If you can broaden your horizons and be able to talk about a different range of topics, then you open yourself up to having more conversations, and in some ways more fulfilling conversations, because the conversation could potentially last more than 5 minutes. The next part of this is getting out of our heads. So often, I personally will find myself playing out a conversation in my head without ever having the conversation, and thereby self-defeating the purpose of having a conversation. And that's another thing that introverts we have to deal with, is having the conversation in our own head without ever getting it out. The easiest way to stop that is to start the conversation, to stop the mental process of figuring out how a conversation might go, making an assumption about how the conversation could go, and having the conversation. Now, yes, you might wind up finding that you don't like the conversation, but there again, without having the conversation, there's no way any of us will know. Now, the next thing is, don't be afraid to let yourself have a 5-minute conversation. If you're not used to conversing with someone else, if you're not used to conversing with strangers or just other people in general, it's okay. We're exercising the social battery, not wearing it out all at once. It's important to make that distinction. Just like you would exercise your muscles, say your arms, with push-ups. You're not going to start off doing 100 push-ups all at once. You'll inevitably cause more harm than good. So just like with our social batteries, it's best to start off small and just work your way up. You're trying to exercise it, build it over time, not just tear it to shreds in a single day. That's really not good for your health if you're exercising your muscles, nor is it good for your social battery, your mental health, to try and exert yourself to such lengths. Be okay within your limits, but always try to push those boundaries just a little. That's how exercise works. You always try to push yourself just a little bit further each time. Just one more push-up each day that you do them in order to build the muscle stronger and stronger. Now, of course, with the analogy of building muscles, you also have to feed the muscles. And with that, it comes with nutrients. With the social battery, though, what is the nutrients for our social battery? That's rest, recovery, and psychological health, which involves being around people that you will converse with well, that you can talk about things that you like, that you'll fall back to, just so that you can have a conversation that you're comfortable with. Now again, pushing the boundaries, you want to try and find other areas that maybe starting off you find an area of something that is related to what you like, and then you go ahead with a conversation that transitions between different subjects that way. but it's pushing boundaries just little by little. Feeding yourself by taking time alone to recharge the battery, or spend it with friends that you can talk about the things that you like. Now, I too am not going to run up to some person and say, hey, let's talk about the weather, because I'm an introvert. I'm not going to start a conversation with some random person just on a whim. It doesn't work that way. So if you're an introvert, I understand completely. This is not something I don't personally take as a challenge for myself too, to be able to converse with other people. But taking the step out of the boundaries of what we confine ourselves in, taking a step out of our own heads and taking a step out of our comfort zone is all about what growth is. Growth is learning and growing into something new that is adding to yourself, adding value to yourself. And thereby, when doing that, you'll find that not only is your social battery going to last longer, but you're going to be able to better handle the world, better handle dealing with other people. One more thing, with it being that we are all having to stay separated this time, I understand that that makes things harder. And texting can help, but try not to rely on texting. Written word is not the same as actual speech, actual communication with another person. I know this from experience. Sending an email, sending a text, it's not the same as hearing somebody's voice. It's not the same also as seeing someone and hearing their voice. Because seeing someone and hearing their voice, you can see their expression on their face and hear the tone of their voice. Now, if you cannot see someone's face, at least being able to hear the tone of their voice, it changes the dynamics of a conversation profoundly. So if you can, video chat with someone. Video chat with people that you know and you care about. If you can't do that, talk with someone on the phone or on a voice call of some sort. It makes a world of difference when exercising your social battery to be able to interact with people on that basic level. Texting's not the same, emails are not the same, written words are not the same as hearing somebody talk, because speech is the basic foundation of human communication. Well, that does it for today's video. What do you think? Are you going to try exercising your social battery in these trying times? If you are, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll join you there. I too am going to try to exercise my social battery more, and I'll let you know how that goes. But one more thing. Everybody, we did it. We are at over 100 subscribers on this channel, and I am excited. Thank you everyone that has subscribed to the channel. And as promised, I've got the Lego minifigures up on display. There's over 100 here. I will post the picture here at the end of this video. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help me put up more Lego minifigures. I still am waiting to get completely buried in them, and that'll be one of the subscriber specials at some point, absolutely burying me in Lego minifigures. But thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And one more thing, I have a surprise for everybody. Do you like video games, anime, movies, TV shows, anything nerdy at all? Well, check out Nerd Break Podcast. It is a brand new podcast that me and two of my best friends started. It's over here on YouTube. I'll try to drop a link in the video description, but check it out. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.